Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Semi-original guy here, aka Mr. Cannon from AdvanceNoob, bringing to you another episode in the Live League series. Today, we're playing on Don't Muck Material Land. And this is a Fog of War base light matchup. Today, our players are AdvanceNoob and mooji6. Two very good Live League players. Now, both of these guys have been climbing the ladder. AdvanceNoob currently #1 when it comes to overall wins. So watch out if you are playing against AdvanceNoob. Guy is a beast, but mooji is also a beast. You know, he's definitely a beast. Both of these players are at least 1400 rating, I believe, and the Global League. Now, base light, you know, I probably favored Jess and Jake on this matchup, especially because there are no comm towers on this map. Now, as we do know, Jake will get a day-to-day bonus plus 10% firepower on planes. His beatdown co-power will actually increase his range of his indirects by 1, also increasing that firepower bonus on planes. And then the block rock super co-power will increase his movement by 2, increase his firepower on the planes even more, and also keep that +1 range. Very, very strong CO. Considered maybe the best CO in tier 4, but that is definitely up for debate. Now, Jess, on the other hand, gets a penalty to her infantry, air units, and navy units by 10%. So very difficult for her to win those infantry engagements. However, she gets a bonus firepower of 10% to all of her vehicle units. That's every single vehicle unit available, folks. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this one and see how it played out. Because as we know, on day 1, 2, and 3, standard infantry builds. You gotta get the infantry on the field. Now, interesting move right here. A little bit of difference right now. So AdvanceNoob going for the forward caps, mooji going for the back cap first. Not really too drastic overall, but can definitely play a role in the income game later on. Alright, mooji opening up early recon over here on day 3, and AdvanceNoob looks like he's going to be banking those funds, probably for day 5 tank is my guess. Recon moves all the way into the mid, gets a vision on the 2 center properties at the moment, and AdvanceNoob moves his infantry forward and builds that day 5 tank like I was expecting. Actually, pretty good position from AdvanceNoob right now. Brings the infantry forward to actually start to cap on this property right here, while also having an infantry in position to cap this property here. So he should be able to get those properties relatively uncontested. This one might be a little bit contested, but mooji right now actually has no infantry ready to cap those 2 properties, so that is going to put him at a little bit of a deficit, I believe, coming over here into the late early game. Now AdvanceNoob finishing off a lot of his caps, starting a lot more of the caps over here. Starting these 2 caps, going for one of the center properties, which is pretty good in my opinion, not too bad. Now mooji gets vision on the mountain. Good placement of mountains on this map, by the way. They actually do allow for quite a bit of vision, as you guys can see here. So we're going for this cap right here, and then we have a cap right there, so we're going to interrupt. So we interrupt with the recon, taking that boy all the way down to 5. Got 2 tanks on the field at the moment. AdvanceNoob tank artillery on the field. This is an interesting play, actually. So we have a cap ready to go. And we forgo the cap. Interesting. So this might actually be... Okay, I think I see. Alright, so we interrupt the middle infantry from capping, and we actually move in with the tank. So this would not have been possible if we had just moved the infantry, or maybe no, it definitely would have still been possible if we just moved the infantry. But if this guy happened to have perished in the engagement, it would have meant that we would not have vision and would not be able to strike this recon. Maybe a better course of action for this would have actually been to move the infantry first and attack, and then see if you survive, and then maybe finish off the cap. But You know what? It's live league, folks. Sometimes you make decisions, and they're not the best decisions, but they are decisions, and you got to live with them. All right. So at the end of the day, not really too big of a deal. I mean, we are going to be able to go back and cap that afterwards. Now, mooji6's turn right now. And like I said, a little bit of a deficit because we don't have either of these two properties over here, while AdvanceNoob does have one of these properties. So if we can actually stop mooji6 from getting that middle property, it'll actually put us ahead in the fun game overall. Alright, so double infantry interrupt on the eastern property right there, bringing 2 tanks into the mid. 1 tank sitting on a forest, so very nice. Okay, so 1 HP infantry sitting here getting a lot of vision. Definitely got to be eliminating that guy so that we do not have that vision anymore. Bringing the 1 HP infantry back, using another one to attack the 6 HP one that was sitting there. Bringing the artillery all the way forward to sit on the city. Most likely going to be blocking that off with a infantry right there. Okay, so nothing at the moment is going for that back property, but we do actually put this guy in range to cap it if in the event we need it. So pretty good position, I would say. I mean, this guy is able to go forward if he wants to, and then if he doesn't need to go forward, he is able to go back and cap that property. Getting heals on one of the infantry. Going to take that guy up to 9 next turn, and then builds another tank infantry. So very, very nice. All right, so mooji6, I wouldn't say he's necessarily behind when it comes to units at the moment, but definitely fun game. He's a little bit behind. He's forced to actually use some of his infantry to interrupt these guys, so it's kind of not the position you want to be in for sure. Interrupts his own cap to actually get a KO on an infantry. Looks like we're going to be going in with one of the tanks to strike the artillery by the looks of it here. Alright, and using a second tank to strike the other tank that's in the front lines right there. So very cool. Alright. What else are we going to do? Do another 2-pronged attack on that infantry on the city and bring in an anti-air forward. So very cool. Alright, so anti-air definitely in response to a potential battlecopter build for sure. You definitely got to get them out. Like day 9, day 8, yeah, for sure. Okay, so AdvanceNoob definitely has a lot of potential for this turn. Is able to maybe 2-strike a tank down here. Maybe even get another attack on this tank here. So we'll see what he does. Manages to get 2 properties. So he's actually going to be in a pretty favorable position at the moment. So 14k on base light, that does allow you to make 2 tanks per turn. As you guys can see here, we have a double tank build. Okay, so this isn't too bad. So we don't get any KOs on tanks, but we do hit them pretty darn hard. I'm not gonna lie. Bring the artillery back a little bit here too. So it is mooji6's turn at the moment. So eliminate the vision, grant the vision. Gonna go up and try to cap a property. Take 2 little engagements here. Then just take out a tank, and then we pop a turbocharge. We got the first co-power of the game here, folks. Now, the additional movement is actually pretty interesting here because of the placement of this forest tile. Normal movement would not actually allow you to reach this tile here, but +1 movement does. So we're able to get a 2-shot on that tank and actually almost take out this tank right here. So that puts mooji6 in a pretty good position overall. Double tank build and recon moving in for the vision. A little bit of an overextension on these infantry here, though. I probably would have liked to see these guys maybe swing over here and try to grab those 2 properties. This guy seems a little bit thirsty, you know. A little bit thirsty, but we'll see. Alright, AdvanceNoob not pushing up into that situation, going back and attacking these infantry capping and attacking this tank over here. Not really worrying about these guys at the moment. I believe mooji6 might be forced to do a retreat right here. Yeah, you don't really want to be fighting into that. Using the anti-air on the front lines, though, not super feeling that very much, especially when it's your only anti-air. If it does happen, or if AdvanceNoob does happen to have a battlecopter on the field and we lose our only anti-air, that does put us in a pretty sticky situation, you know. And we go in with a tank and actually strike that our anti-air all the way down to 5, and then we build a battlecopter right afterwards. So anticipating that that's probably his only anti-air on the field, I think it's probably safe that he would buy the battlecopter that turn. Alright, so join capping on the infantry in the middle, bring the anti-air back, hiding in the forest, surrounding the infantry with another 1 HP infantry. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a super strong position. This guy's probably still going to get blasted to smithereens, but the thought was there. So it's very cool. Alright, so in other news, mooji is actually trying to get these caps on the side here, and if he's not attacked by this infantry, and maybe even this battlecopter, he should secure both of these properties next turn, which is critical. Oh, wow. Normally that probably would result in like a 1 HP. It is actually pretty lucky for 2 infantry to 2-hit KO an infantry on a city, even with 10% firepower, so pretty lucky attack right there. And we did not get these guys hit, so we do get a double property flip this turn, or not flip, but double property gain right now, taking us all the way up to 15k. Puts us in the sweet territory of an anti-air and a tank every single turn if we choose. Definitely got to do some... Definitely got to pay attention over here on the left-hand side of the map, as there was an infantry attempting to cap that property here. And it was taken out by several tank attacks over here, so very nice. Alright, builds another recon and builds another tank. So mooji not really doing too bad with the tank game right now. We're up to 6 tanks right here. I think AdvanceNoob is up to 8. So AdvanceNoob definitely ahead in the tank game. Has a few more KOs. So mooji does have a little bit of a fight on his hands over here if he wants to stay in the game. Strong artillery position over here in the forest, actually covering this cap right now. So also very nice. Bringing back the infantry to get a heal on this, which is actually just out of vision of this tank, which is pretty nice. Strong artillery position right here, being blocked off by the mountain, so if anything did actually push in there, boom, schmackerinos right there, buddy. Ooh, tank and cop tank. Oh boy. All right, so mooji does a big old attack over here, taking out a tank and an infantry, but brings 4 valuable units forward in order to do so. And AdvanceNoob actually has quite a bit of presence over here. Are we going to see a co-power this turn? Interesting that we don't see a co-power. Interesting. I feel like if we had used a co-power that turn, we would have got +1 range on this guy. Probably would have been able to take out 2 tanks and a battlecopter this turn. So kind of interesting that we didn't go for it. Alright, so let's skip ahead to the next turn once again. So yeah, it looks like AdvanceNoob did actually push a few of his units over here and did a front shift over here to the mid. Now considering that he did massive damage over here last turn, it's probably safe to say that there's not really too much threat over there at the moment. And if there is, you know, he doesn't want to be fighting into that. He wants to be going for areas where his units are covered. So pushing into the mid seems like a good idea. mooji actually manages to take back some pieces here at the end of that engagement. Takes out a few units over here and actually gets the battlecopter kill as well, which is super nice because he just lost a battlecopter. So if you're going to lose a battlecopter, you might as well be able to take out a battlecopter the next turn as well. Alright, so day 15, is this going to be the block rock? We got a block rock right now. So that's additional range on the artilleries and additional movement on the direct combat units. Which is actually pretty interesting because this guy is just out of range normally, but with the +1 range, we are able to hit that tank. Boom, #1 priority right there. And anti-air on a plane, managing to take out that 4 HP tank. And then we do, ooh, that's nasty. It's a nasty old attack over there. So it takes out all those units, and then that's about it. Alright, so we don't want to do any more than that. We use the super co-power to actually do a bunch of damage over here. Puts us even farther ahead in the tank game. I believe that well, it's still 8-6, but Much better positioning over here for AdvanceNoob, I believe. Mooji, definitely not out of the woods yet, and not out of the game, because we do have the overdrive super co-power. So, pops the overdrive, and starts blasting away here. And actually frees a way for the tank to go up and take a shot at this artillery too. This is one thing that I find in it's one thing I find in live games quite a bit, is whenever people use artillery. Let's get back here. Whenever people use artillery, they tend to be magnets for tanks. So I mean, if your goal is to try to lure in a tank, use an artillery, man. You just pop an artillery somewhere, like on a front line, just like inviting your opponent in to attack it. I mean, it's the perfect lure, folks. You're fly fishing right there. All right. So not a terrible attack from the super co-power here from Mooji, but doesn't actually manage to finish off any units. Has a bunch of injured tanks over here now, which is pretty dangerous, and definitely a severely overextended tank right there, which ends up getting taken out. And AdvanceNoob is actually building a couple mechs right now, which is pretty interesting. You don't often see too many mechs being played, but he does have a T-copter here, so I mean the T-copter is able to ferry those mechs, so it's not like super terrible. I wouldn't say that the mechs are a bad move. Mechs are a very cost-effective way to actually take out tanks, so you know it's not really too bad. But got a stinky Neo tank on the field here, so this game is about to get all sorts stinky. All right. Very interesting position over here. So doesn't push up, pulls back, but actually brings in the anti-air and the tank to get vision over here on the airport. So keeping a close eye on things over there. Does not see the Neo tank coming at the moment though. Not really too many options for attacks here. Goes up and tries to take out the recon. AdvanceNoob manages to retaliate by taking out the recon and going up and taking out both units that were sitting there in the center of the map. Mechs are getting some nice boosties from those transport copters and just forms a nice massive death ball over here. This is the kind of stuff that Von Bolt and Sturm and Rachel live for, folks. They live for the death balls. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right. So double, triple, actually. So we take out one tank, take out two tanks. Neo tank moves up, takes out a mech. And we take out an artillery. You know what would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's too bad. You know what? We could have got a double artillery kill that turn, which would have made it so the Neo tank was basically uncontested up here, which would have been pretty cool. But unfortunately, we did not go down that route, and one of the artillery are still alive. Nasty anti-air position over here, right beside the airport. That is some gross stuff right there, and we got a beatdown co-power here from Jake, getting the additional firepower on those planes. I thought for a second that tank was going to go up and try to pop that Neo tank, but he did not. Did not pull an RF Fireheart today, unfortunately, but the spirit is there for sure. Double hit on that tank right there, and actually surrounds the Neo tank, so he's unable to move unless he's broken out. Now we are pretty close to a super co-power, but we do have a co-power. So we popped the turbocharge. Only got 9 units left right now, so it's a little bit dangerous. This is the kind of gross engagements that you see from Jess, unfortunately, when it comes to the infantry. This guy, that's unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate. Neo tank is saved. Battlecopter is struck down, but we end up doing the resign that turn. Honestly, it's probably justified. AdvanceNoob is ahead by 16, or by just 1,000 funds. One property, 16,000 to 15,000, and that does make a difference, like overall, like especially when it comes to the late game. But overall, I mean, when you got 9 units left to a possible like 16, all these units right here, we definitely have, it's definitely danger territory, right? We have artillery strike, tank strike right here. You got a double tank strike on this right here. This guy can get double like tank mech'd. This guy's going down. This guy can get attacked by another tank that's not even at full HP. That entire area right there, those units, those guys are going down next turn. So justifiably so, we have a resign. But I think that was fought very, very well. Mooji, despite being behind for quite a bit of the mid game there, actually held out pretty well. Unfortunately, AdvanceNoob just had the better position, and I think what it really comes down to is all the way back here on just the first couple days, you know. AdvanceNoob, instead of going for this property, pushed that infantry forward, sat right there while these infantry were down here, which led to this situation right here where he's able to get this property and Mooji's not able to, which led to this situation where he's got that property and Mooji doesn't, leading to these engagements here, leading to him to not have those properties until day 13. So by taking all the way up to day 13 to get those properties here, that put him significantly behind in the tank game, so he just was not able to keep up overall. So that's pretty much how it went down, folks. That's how it went down. But I thought that was a fantastic game. Congratulations to both players. Hopefully I will see many more of your guys' games in the future for the series. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the Live League game of the day. More to come in the future. I'll be playing, or I'll be casting some more very, very soon in the future. So if you did like it, consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you on the next live game. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.